Howdy, folks. Cameron here with Two Gun, and welcome to episode 1. We're rolling. We're in it.
Oh, it's official now.
We're in it. So, just want to introduce my co-host. I very meticulously chose this guy. I mean, he's got a face for radio.
I don't know what process you went through to pick me out, but there must have been a short list.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, I thought I'll pick the most talkative person that I'm friends with. And
You might have nailed that.
ladies and gentlemen, we have Danny Hildebrand.
Nice to meet all you guys. I've been around Cameron since the start of Two Gun, and just watching him grow, it's been awesome to be around. When he asked me to come and do this with him, it was I was so excited about it. I've been stoked about it since he kind of gave the first teaser, and we've talked about getting it rolling all through the winter, and our schedules just couldn't really get matched up together. But now that we're both synced up,
we're like a bunch of heifers. We're synced up.
we're on that program.
We're AI-'d. Anyhow, usually you'd cut to a cutscene, but we're not fancy enough for that.
Yeah, maybe this is where people put sponsors in.
Yeah, the sponsors. This video is sponsored by. Well, nobody is willing to pay us yet, so we might get to that point.
Sponsored by ourselves.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Cameron and Two Gun.
And a little bit, Danny. You tried to find a soundboard today, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
We're the farthest thing from computer nerds, so I don't even know what to get. But we're rolling. We have somewhat of a setup. So.
Yeah, places I went to just kept sending me to the next place down the road, and the next place down the road didn't have what would work. So it's working, so we can't complain. We hope.
If you guys can hear us.
If it's not, say so in the comments.
So, Mr. Hildebrand, you're in the oil field. You've ran your own cow herd. You have business experience. That's why you're here. That's why you're here. You can talk about it. But I want you to tell people what you've basically done and what you do now that applies to somewhat entrepreneurship and business owning.
Well, I think biggest thing I've learned is don't be scared to fail. I have failed so many times at this point already. I out of high school, I tried doing the whole college thing. Was not for me, which I knew it wasn't for me going into it, but still did it because it's kind of what was expected of me. So I went that route, turned around, was a laborer doing some concrete, and there were some good experiences in that. They stuck me on the Mexican work crew, and trying to work with a bunch of guys that you don't even speak the same language, that's a treat.
They'll outwork you tenfold, though.
Oh, they will.
That's the hard part.
I would break my back trying to just keep up with them, and I still couldn't. Those guys that were working with us, they knew how to work. But from there, I did some guiding, and that was probably one of the funnest summers I've ever had in my life. Just being in the mountains week after week, fishing every day. We started probably in probably July sometime. Put a camp in about 12 miles back and just north of Yellowstone Park, and it was a blast. I mean, I met people from all over the country, and they you hear a lot of stories, and it was really, really unique kind of, I guess, job. And I already knew how to pack and hunt to a certain extent, but being around a lot of those guys that have been in it for years was eye-opening to see what there was still to learn. And there's still opportunities to go out and have a packing company out there. I mean, there's a lot of loopholes to jump through on that, which any business there is. But, from there, started running my own cow herd, got my own lease, had about, I didn't have a very big herd. I had about 25 head. But out of those 25 head, about 20 of them were all registered. And I was running some of the genetics, actually mostly all the genetics that my sister and brother-in-law have. And, you know, I might be biased on that, but I really do like their genetics. And
Jimmy and Shaley, when you see this, you're coming on here. You don't have a choice.
yeah, no choice.
Your brother already signed you up.
You heard it here first. But, no, being able to run your own stuff, and I guess through all of the years that I was doing all that other stuff too, I had a cow herd that I'd come back and help my dad with, and we'd, you know, I still owned a chunk of cows and ran them with my dad, and every weekend, you know, especially when I was doing concrete, get off work at Friday at 6 o'clock, drive 2 hours home, start night calving for him. I'd night calve clear up till about Monday morning at probably 3, hop in the car, drive 2 hours back up to Bozeman to go do concrete.
Oh yeah, something I left out. I do work for Danny's dad still to this day. He will. we need to have him on here, but Danny's dad is not a camera, like talk in front of the camera kind of guy.
He's one heck of a businessman.
He's a businessman, you know, and that's why I kind of want to have him on here, because that's kind of where I wouldn't say where I've learned it, but I've definitely taken some traits from your dad, you know, and I think that goes for everything. If you're trying to be an entrepreneur and you're not hanging around business owners and you're not picking business owner brains, you just ain't gonna make it. It ain't gonna happen. You have to surround yourself by people that have either already doing it or already done it. But that's about it. I mean, you have to be around the people that you want to be, basically, and which can become imitation, but imitation, it can be flattery, and it can be, you know, very beneficial for you, though.
It really can be. And, you know, there's a lot of things that I like the way my dad does a lot of things. And, you know, there's some things that...
Yeah, bullshit. I've seen you guys work cows together. They do not agree. They do not agree on shit.
There's a lot of things we disagree on, but there's a lot that we do agree on. Now that I've gotten older and been around a little bit more stuff, I've learned to appreciate some of the things he does a little more than I used to.
So a little breakdown on his dad. I work for his dad. I'm his hired hand and trucker. His dad owns a trucking company. He hauls cows and hay all over the place, but he also has his own cow herd and the whole nine. But he's been doing it for 25 years. So if you've been in the trucking industry that long, you have to be doing something right, because you don't last that long. It is a dog-eat-dog world between rates and all that, but then again, between breakdowns and everything, you have to know what the fuck you're doing. You have to. Like he just put 2 new transmissions in trucks, and each of them was probably 10, 12,000 each. Not even labor included, but it's a big money game. But like, back to what you were saying, is he definitely knows what he's doing. You know, surrounding yourself around people that, or it doesn't have to be in the same industry that you want to pursue, but just someone that is generally a businessman. That's who you want to be around. If this is what you want to do. If owning a business and being an entrepreneur is what you want to do.
Just surrounding yourself with people that have been there and done that and have seen the ways it's succeeded and failed. Just surrounding yourself with all the people like that you can. Even people that have no idea about the industry you're specifically in, like you were saying, they can still lend so much knowledge to somebody just because they can tell you what will and won't work as far as making something pencil, you know?
Well, it's like when you were learning to bulldog. You're not going to go to a team roper and learn how to bulldog.
No. Which, not saying team ropers can't bulldog, but there's a lot that cannot.
Maybe that wasn't a good analogy, but if you are trying to be a team roper, you're not going to go to a bull rider and be like, hey, how do I team rope?
No, and you know, it's tricks of the trade on as far as the rodeo world goes too, and I've been around that. You know, I only got into the rodeo world probably when I was in middle school, 8th grade or something. And
This guy's a PRCA star.
no, I am far from it.
Best bulldogger west of Mississippi right here.
No. I got a lot of buddies that are running the PRCA circuit right now, and they can out bulldog me right now.
Oh yeah, you're fat and old now. You're out of it. That ship has sailed. If you tried to bulldog right now,
It would drag me around the arena before I knew what to do with it. But that's part of the fun of that too. Is bulldogging is a blast. I wish there was a lot more people around that would get into it and stay into it.
it's a little rough. A little rough for the average bear, though.
It is. I won't argue that.
It's not like just hopping on a horse and throwing a rope. It's a little bit more advanced, a little bit more rough and tough.
You gotta be willing to sacrifice your body a little bit. That's for sure. But on the flip side of that, you know, you said you're not gonna just hop on a horse, throw a rope. Throwing a rope is not easy. I tried for years and years and years to be a good calf roper, and you know, I think the best I ever did was an 11-second run. Granted, I'm the slowest human being you'll ever see run. So watching me get off my horse like a sack of potatoes, I guess.
We're tagging calves. You can run pretty quick.
Well, there's a little more incentive to run fast then. Fuck, beer killed my hangover.
Okay, what's the topic now?
Oh, I was talking about how we wash laundry.
How we wash laundry. You know how I wash laundry? You know how I wash laundry? I put the thing in there. I don't mess with the settings. I put the son of a gun in there and I press start.
See?
So whoever did laundry last, I can give you a good idea on who did it. She might be giving me the eyes right now.
I gotta do my own laundry. Because it's always...
You do your own laundry.
Oh yeah, because it's always either covered in cow shit or oil field grease or just grease from working on equipment. And I'm sure yours is too, but she doesn't want to deal with it.
Nah, I got soft hands. I'm always clean.
I always get told I gotta do my own.
You're not helping my case here.
I always wash it in the hottest water I can to get all the stains out.
Do you wash it in cold water?
Yeah, if the pants are really stained and greasy and nasty.
I'm going to chance.
Oh, I still dry them. That's fine. I'll stretch them out.
I'm gonna play with fire here, but maybe we should try and use warm water on my cinch denim jacket because I cannot get the shit stains out of it.
Hot with a touch of bleach.
Did you? I'm not picking a fight here.
We might have to stop this conversation.
Did you wash it in cold?
She knows what she's doing. You and me don't, obviously.
I told you I wanted to play with fire a little bit.
A little dangerous.
Anyhow, let's get off this laundry topic before I end up doing laundry for the rest of the week.
This is exactly how I ended up doing my own laundry.
What's that thing on Facebook? I wish I could find it. I keep reaching for my phone, but my phone is recording this whole thing. It's like when you reach the age 35 or 40, you either get really good at smoking meat or get terribly addicted to sports, like sports betting.
Well, I'm bad in both. I'm only 26.
I haven't got into the sports betting. I don't know enough about sports because I'm a gambling man through and through. But I don't know enough about sports.
We were sitting there. We were in the oil field. And me and a friend of mine, we were sitting there watching the Super Bowl. Not this year, but last year. He got a little drunk and he was like, oh man, Kansas City's going to get a touchdown this drive, or whatever the heck was going on at that point.
Tom Brady just scored a field goal.
He'd call up some random person, hey, I'll bet you $2,000 that this is going to happen. And they'd call up another person, I'll bet you $2,000 this is going to happen. Sure enough, within 30 seconds, lost $4,000 like that. That's a lot of money for people that have no money.
All right.
So
we're gonna close this up here. We've probably been recording for like an hour and a half, and we're probably gonna have a 20-minute episode. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, I got a question for you before we end. So how did you actually come up with the name Two Gun? Because I don't think I've ever asked you that.
When I was sitting in my trailer house, I lived in a trailer house at the time. I'd go back to live in a trailer house any moment of my life, for sure. That was the best time.
Simpler times.
Yeah, simpler times. But with kids, it's a nightmare. Anyways, sitting in my trailer house, I was making designs for people, and that's when I was like, why don't I just make my own designs? And one thing led to another, and I was just kind of trying to think of something, pretty original and something that you don't hear. And I actually was like, well, I ought to do like 2 guns. And then I was like, well, 2 guns is used a lot. Why don't I just do 2 gun? Every cowboy pre-1920 carried 2 revolvers. So that's where I came up with 2 gun. And that's where I eventually came up with the brand, the 2 and the revolver, because that's what I was after.
If you want a reference, it's right there.
You get your pointing, right? I think I'm pointing at Doc Holliday right now.
Not even close. Yeah, there you go.
But anyways,
this is our first shot at editing anything, so
it's you and me and our 5 to 10 views against the world, because that's probably what this YouTube video is going to get. Or it's going to get 20,000, and we're going to be like, now what do we do?
And then we're actually going to have to start cranking these things out.
Where do we go from here? We're going to have to move from the bunkhouse to a warehouse.
Well, we're going to have to start making hats a lot faster, I know that. Because it takes way too long to do it the way we're doing.
Yeah, this is my helper here. I've taught him how to make hats. And he's we call it the Montana sweatshop.
It really is. I'm not saying I've helped a lot, but I have helped.
'Cause it gets freaking hot in here with the hat press going and us full of hot air drinking sodas.
Mexican soda.
What are those, Jarritos? Those are good.
Mexican drinks that come in bottles are always better. I mean, look, Coca-Cola.
Dude, anything in Mexico just made this that much better. Food-wise.
Oh, I agree food-wise. I love Mexican food.
Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you coming to 2 Gun Podcast, and I appreciate you listening to us ramble on. Subscribe, comment, like, share, do it all.
If we were entertaining at all.
Yeah, if we were any sort of bit entertaining.
Even if we got a smile.
We are going to work on getting on to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everything. Right now, we're posting to YouTube, and then we're going to figure our way out to how we get onto Spotify and Apple Podcasts, because I've had a few people today ask me if that's what we're going to do, and we are. I just don't know how. But anyways, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.